Hey everybody, my name is Dawson and welcome back to That 70s Renovation. Over the last couple months, I have been working super hard on renovating my kitchen. I've removed all of the old cabinets. I've taken out the soffits that were above them so in the future my kitchen could have more storage and bigger cabinets. I also removed the old pantry. I've had to take out and replace a lot of the drywall, also removed all the floors. It's been a really big project and it's taken me a long time to put it back together, but I'm so excited because today I'm going to share how I was able to build my own kitchen cabinets. I was very lucky to get gifted a set of cabinets from RTA Cabinet Store. RTA stands for Ready to Assemble. So these cabinets come to you shipped in boxes and then you build them yourself. Very similar to IKEA kind of furniture, except much higher quality, different tools you use to assemble, and a lot more wood glue. Now, the process goes something like this. I went on their website and I found a bunch of different cabinets that I was interested in and like the colors and the shapes and everything like that. And then they sent me some samples. And so let me show you the samples that they sent me and then I'll tell you which one I picked and why. All right, these are the cabinet samples that I got from RTA Cabinet Store. So you can see that there's different styles. This one's like a plain shaker. This one has a little bit more bevel detail. This one was actually my favorite. It's a slim white oak cabinet. And then this one's like a plain shaker style similar to that one. So they have a lot of colors and a lot of different shapes on their website. And I thought I was going to go with this cabinet because I really like the simple kind of clean lines of it, but I had already ordered my floors, which look like this, and I thought that was just too similar and didn't provide enough contrast. So then I started looking at my fireplace, and my cabinets up here are this kind of dark oak, or sorry, not oak. I think they're like similar-ish looking to walnut. So I decided to go with this cabinet because I thought this just looked the most similar. Let me bring it over so you can see up close. I think that this looks so good. And actually the original kitchen cabinets would have been a similar color to this. So this is the one I ended up getting. It's called, let me get the name for you. It's called Grizzly Oak, Grizzly Shaker, sorry. And you can obviously find that on their website, but yeah, I think this one's gonna be a winner. So after I figured out the color that I wanted, I sent all of the measurements to my kitchen into RTA Cabinet Store, and then someone from their team told me exactly what I need to order. And my measurements had to be very detailed. I needed to tell them exactly where the outlets were, where the water was, all that kind of stuff. But it was very nice, just like basically handing that over, and they did all the hard work for me. And then all my cabinets came shipped in boxes and I got started building them. The first two cabinets, you do have a little bit of a learning curve just to kind of figure out how it works, make sure you got the process down, but they have a very nice app that you can follow with all the instructions. There are one or two things that I did a little differently than what the app suggested, just because I thought it made it easier. So I'll make sure to share that too. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments as you're kind of watching the install process. DIY projects definitely can save you a lot of money if you're willing to put in the time and effort to do it. And hopefully tutorials like this will make it a little bit easier. So without further ado, let me show you how I started building my cabinets. All right, I got half of the cabinets built last night and now I'm gonna work on the rest of them. Let me go slow and show you exactly how I'm building these cabinets. It takes about 45 minutes per cabinet, which is honestly not bad. I think it's easier than building IKEA furniture, to be honest. And yeah, let's go slow. I'll show you how I'm doing it. And hopefully this helps you if you ever do this in your kitchen. Honestly, I think these are so easy and a really great way to save money. So I'm starting by laying out the face frame down on a piece of cardboard. Make sure you put something down so that it's not just like on the ground getting scratched. I just use one of the boxes from the cabinets. Then you're gonna get some wood glue and put that in all of the grooves along the face frame on the back of it. I'll go closer and show you. All right, so you wanna just go ahead and put the glue in these little grooves here that they made for you. Don't put too much because it will come squirting out all over the place and you definitely do not want that because then you gotta wipe it up really fast before it dries and it's a little bit stressful. Glue. Actually, you don't need to put it all the way across the front. You just need like these two sections. I just remembered that. Okay, now we're gonna put the sides of the cabinet in, and they also have a groove here that you need to put some glue in. So just do that before you put anything together, because it's a lot easier to put the glue in right now. I'm gonna grab the other side to do that too. Now we can start putting those together. So this little cutout is for the front. So you wanna just make sure you get this the right way. That's the top of my face frame. This is the top of the side. And then you just slide it into place right here. And then the instructions will tell you to start stapling it in right away. I don't do that. I put the next side in right here. And then also, I'm gonna put the bottom in at the same time, because these three will help hold each other up, and then it's a lot easier to work by yourself this way. Slide that in here. Boom. Now this will kind of like hold itself together, but you can put a clamp here if you want it to like stay in place while you're stapling. So I'm gonna grab a clamp and put that there. Now we're gonna work on stapling the sides and the face frame together with these little clips. And it's really easy to do. You just set it in there. And then this is the staple gun that I'm using. It looks scary, it's really not. So you just place that down like that and staple in place. Super easy. That, and then one at the very end. I'm gonna do it on the other side too, but you also need to put these little supports here in the top. I'm only gonna staple this one right now and not here, because this has to move a little bit when you put the back in. So just do one staple for now. Perfect. Now that we got all the sides together, we can start working on the back. And you need to put a little bit of glue on this before you assemble it as well. So I'll do that here. And also you can take off your clamp at this time. Put a little glue, and a little glue here. And now this part is a little bit hard, but you're gonna have to slide it into place and pull the sides out a little bit in order to do that. Okay, so there's that one. And then you're gonna pull this out a little bit. Make sure it's in there. And then push it back together, like that. Okay, now the back actually screws into the sides. So let me grab my drill. Just make sure you don't drill too hard, because it will poke out the side. I just kind of hold it together like this. And then go lightly. And you basically just want to stop when the head reaches the bottom of that hole. Super important that you don't go too far. It will poke out the side. Then you also need some screws here and here, going into that vertical piece. And then also some screws here along the bottom. And you might want to like draw a line or something. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it because I've done it a few times now. It's basically one screw length on the top of that thing. And just make sure you wipe up any glue that's coming out the side with a wet paper towel, because you really don't want that to dry, because it will be seen. Especially when you're assembling like finished cabinets like this. There's no way to paint it and hide it. So. Now you can come back and add some of the staples to the side. Be careful, because I stapled my finger once doing this. Now this piece is gonna be the toe kick, so I'm just gonna put some staples in to start. This part is kind of hard because you have to hold it up while you staple it in to place, but you just kind of put that there, like that. and then hold it while you staple it. All right, and that is how you build the box of the cabinets. So that process is the same if you're building one with drawers or with doors, but if you do it with drawers, obviously there's a little bit more steps to build the drawers, which I'll show you now. One thing that I forgot to do is that you're supposed to put these brackets on the back before you attach it. It's not the end of the world. I'll just add those now, but that's what the drawer slides attach to. All right, now I'm gonna show you how to build a drawer. Honestly, this is the easiest part, and the only tool that you need is a rubber mallet. So here are the pieces of the drawer. There's the front that has part of the drawer box included on it. There's the back, which has little like grooves for the sides to fit in. And then there's the sides, and there's also like a bottom panel that slides in. So first thing you need to do is put glue on the front and back pieces. I'll get up close so you can see exactly how I'm doing that. All right, so you just go ahead and kind of get a little glue in each one of these holes. Honestly, so easy and really satisfying. And again, this is just in the front and the back. Now the other side. Okay, now it's super easy. You just put the sides into the front section. Just make sure you line up the grooves. All right, so you kind of get it situated like that, and then just tap it in with the hammer. Literally, it's so easy. Ta-da, next side. Okay, now I'm gonna slide the bottom of the drawer into place. Okay, so now you just add the back piece and tap it into place like you did on the front. Literally, that's it. It's just so easy. If any glue gets out, like on the sides, obviously just wipe that up, but that was so fast, and literally that's done. You don't even have to use any clamps because it's so tight, it just holds it all together. Okay, now let me show you how you attach the drawers to the actual cabinet box. So you're gonna wanna flip the drawer over, and then you'll add these little, I guess they're kind of like clips into the front corners of the drawers and screw them in. All right, and the last step is just attaching the drawer slides to the little clips we put in the back, and then we just slide the drawers in. Literally almost done. And now I'll just attach the slides to the face frame. And the last step is just to slide the drawers in, and they clip into place with those little things we put on the bottom. Look how easy this is, it's crazy. Ta-da! So easy. And that's how you build a drawer cabinet. It's honestly really fun. I think it's way easier than IKEA stuff, and it's really, really good quality too. So I got a couple more cabinets to build, and then I will show you how to attach them to the wall. I don't know how to do that yet. I will figure it out though. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos just to kind of figure out how you're supposed to attach the cabinets to the wall the right way. First, I'm gonna be putting this 2x4 on the wall right below where I want to hang up my cabinet. That's gonna allow me just to like set the cabinet on this block, and it'll hold the weight of the cabinet while I use my other hand to screw the cabinet in. I've done this before, and this is super helpful, even just with hanging like drywall, I've done it. But yeah, obviously this would be easier if I had a second person, but I don't. So let's give it a shot. This is where the fridge is gonna be, and there'll be a cabinet above the fridge. That cabinet is 24 inches tall. So first I need to basically figure out where 24 inches is right here on the wall, and I'm gonna put my 2x4 at that height. I used my stud finder. I found that there was a stud right here. I pre-drilled a screw right there where the stud is. So now I can just figure out how far 24 inches is. Ooh, it's high. Okay, so it's like right there. I'll maybe just put it like a little bit below. Perfect, now I just gotta make sure it's level. It is not. So this side needs to come down. It needs to go down like that. And I think there's a stud in the corner, or at least there should be. That makes sense to me. So I'm gonna just add a screw there. And hope there's something. Perfect. Okay, I'm basically gonna do the same thing with my cabinet now. I will mark where the stud is inside the cabinet and pre-drill a screw. And then when I hold it up here, the screw will be ready to go and I can just drill it into place. One thing though that I'm gonna do different, I have to put like a little filler strip here on this end. So I'm actually gonna be putting the cabinet like 1.5 inches over from the wall. Here we go. All right. Are you on the stud? All right, then got to pull it this way. Ta-da! Cabinet! Now for the most stressful part of this project, figuring out how to cut the panel that goes vertically and covers the fridge. I couldn't find that many instructions on how to do this, so I hope this helps somebody. But basically what you do is they send you this sheet of plywood and you cut it down to the exact depth as the cabinet above the fridge. So I used a table saw to do that. It was kind of hard to do alone, but I figured it out. And then you bring it inside and there is this little piece of trim that has a groove on the back of it, and that goes on the front edge of your plywood, so it kind of covers up that section that you cut. And then you glue that together and then you screw that whole thing into the cabinet above the fridge. There is a little gap in the back of it that I had to make a custom spacer for, and that helped me just make sure that my vertical panel was not like bowing in one side or the other, and it was equally spaced. And so yeah, this was definitely the hardest part of the project for me to figure out, but really happy with how this turned out, and I hope this helps somebody else if they get to this part of the project too. I'm gonna work on hanging up the next upper cabinet, and first thing I did was I went through and just marked on the wall where all my studs are. So now when I put my little support on, I can know exactly where to screw into the wall. The next thing I need to do is measure 42 inches from the ceiling, because that's how long my cabinet is. So let me do that, and I'll mark on the wall again. All right, 42, right there. Perfect. And I'm gonna grab a level, just to help me make sure this is perfect. So this side needs to go up, down, up, right there. And I know my stud is right here. Perfect. Now I can go grab the cabinet and just set it on here. Before I do that though, I'm going to mark inside the cabinet where the studs are. And I will pre-drill a little screw in there so it's super easy just to pop, pop, drive it in. Let me go grab the cabinet. I made a mistake here and I used the wrong screws to attach that 2x4 to the wall. They were too short, so it technically held it up at first, but then it couldn't hold the weight and the whole thing came crashing down while I was holding the cabinet up. Thankfully, I had my hands on the cabinet good enough and I was able to hold it up and still get it screwed into all the studs. But just listen to me, make sure you put the longer screws in. You will not regret it. Now, actually screwing the bottom cabinets in is a lot easier because you don't have to hold anything up. So I just pushed it into place, made sure that it was level. If it's not, you could use shims to make sure that it's completely level front to back, left to right. And then I screwed it into the studs, into the back panel of the cabinet. Okay, to kind of strengthen up this back panel, I cut this piece of wood that will sit in there. And now I will nail this in place and it'll be super strong. So much stronger, wow. I really need more than one battery. One weird issue I ran into while hanging up the cabinets was this wire for the vent above the stove. The old kitchen had one that was a lot lower, and so I needed to move it up and into where the cabinet was going to be because I'm putting in a microwave, and so that outlet needs to be inside the cabinet above the microwave. Thankfully, the wire was long enough and I was able to just cut a new hole, pull it over there, and then into a new outlet box. And then I also had to cut a hole into the cabinet just to make sure that the outlet was obviously visible from inside the cabinet. And thankfully, I got everything cut perfectly on the first try, which doesn't normally happen, and I'm very happy with this. There we go. Underneath the dishwasher, the floor of the kitchen is going to go, so that's going to raise the dishwasher up by like 1/4 of an inch. So I needed to also raise the cabinets up by that much on this side so that the dishwasher would still fit once the countertop gets in there. I just put a little piece of plywood on the ground and then put my cabinets on top of that and then screwed them into the wall. Okay, I need to nerd out with you for a second. So as you can see on this side of the kitchen, the cabinets go all the way up to the ceiling, but for some reason, the pantry does not, and there's like a 6-inch gap up there and it's driving me crazy. So I just made something to fix that, and I need to show it to you because I feel really proud of it, honestly. These pieces will go on top of the pantry and create kind of like a ledge. It'll be a little bit more centered than that, but I basically built it like a picture frame and I stapled the corner together. It took me a couple tries, that's why there's some damage. Actually, that's because I stapled through it and it was too skinny. Then on the back of this, I took my table saw and I cut this little groove in the back of it that's the exact same thickness as these other pieces of trim that I had. And so those slide in there like that. And then I'll glue this all up together and this whole little thing will sit on top of the pantry and cover that gap. I'm so excited about this. I think it's gonna look awesome. The ceiling's a little wobbly, so there's like a little gap up there, but I'll probably put another piece of trim along the very top edge. But yeah, I think this looks a lot better. It just kind of matches the vibe, having it go all the way up to the ceiling on both sides now. The easiest part of this process is just adding on all the cabinet doors. They come pre-drilled for the hinges and they send you the hinges in your cabinet kit. So all you have to do is just screw them into place. Really pretty easy to do. And then the drawers are super easy. They just slide into the tracks and click in place. Once you got all that set, you can move on to adding your cabinet hardware. If you need to put hardware on your cabinet doors or drawers, I really recommend this hardware jig. It makes it so easy. So first you just basically lock into place where the spacing is of your handle, and then you take this jig and you place it on top of either your drawer front or your door, and then you have 2 perfectly defined places where you need to drill your holes. And this works for either a handle that has 2 holes, or you could also use this if you're putting knobs on, and it just really makes it so easy to replicate the hole on each door or drawer. And the last step is to add all of the hardware. And just like that, we are done installing these kitchen cabinets. Whew, I'm excited to say that. Here are all the finished cabinets with all the handles on them. I'll still have to do a little bit of trim once I get the floor in and do like the toe kicks, but this is major progress. I hope this video was helpful and gave you just a better glimpse into what it actually looks like to assemble your kitchen cabinets. I think it's a really good way to save money on your remodel, because if you're able to, first of all, assemble them yourselves and then install them yourselves, that will save you a lot of money overall in your kitchen that you can use on other things. So let me know if you ever give this a shot, and if you have any questions in the comments, I'll try to get to them all. But if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates from my kitchen renovation. Next, I'm going to be working on putting in the LVP flooring and really deep diving into that process, because I've actually done this once before at my smoker house. This is my second time, so I've learned a lot of good things along the way that I can't wait to share with you. And I love the floors that I picked, especially against the cabinets. They're gonna look so good. So thank you so much for being here. I have a crazy goal to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I think I can do it, but I need your help. So don't forget to subscribe, and I hopefully will see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.